Hello, hello, hello. Is my audio working? Yes, it is. Great, awesome, excellent. Nothing is broken yet. Hello. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. I am excited to stream more bootcamp, more JavaScript. Have not touched JavaScript in a few weeks. That's good, right? That will be good. I'm sure. Yet. Yes, everything breaks eventually. It's just how streaming is. It's just the way. Let me close these extra tabs so I'm not just showing you my Twitter when I switch to that screen. Yeah, I technically lied because I tried to use my Stream Deck to transition over to this scene and it didn't work. So I had to press the button myself. So I did lie. It's already broken. I haven't thought about it since your partner streamed it for you. Yeah. I think that's the second to last time I thought about it. So it's going well. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll work on it together. And the important part is to keep going. And as long as we're not giving up, that counts. That counts. And by we, I mean me, but hopefully also you. The weather here is so nice right now. I've been yesterday I had the window open all day. And my dog just wanted to snuggle and it was just really, really pleasant. I don't have the window open right now because I don't know. It feels like the noises might be a little aggressive for stream, but yeah. It's so nice to have actual fall weather here in Austin, Texas. I'm also trying to work on, so I have this other task that I need to do that's kind of important. And as a result, I've just been ignoring it the way that you do when you have a big task. And sometimes this is fine. I try to not fight with my brain anymore. So if I'm not wanting to do something, then sometimes that's a sign that I need to just sort of be thinking about it in the background. So I think that's what it is right now. But yesterday I was sort of spending my brain power on that. And my brain was what if you did some cable management? What if you cleaned your desk for some reason? So I got halfway through that before I got a little overwhelmed because my cables are even worse than I realized. They're all just plugged into whatever was closest. So a lot of them don't I need to do a lot of unplugging and replugging to make it better. But it's, I would say 25% better than it was the last time I streamed. Gonna call that a win. And in the background, thinking through sort of the problem I need to solve and that sort of thing. It's one of those things where you're oh, I need to do this. My house has never been cleaner. But yeah, let's get rolling. Oh, I forgot I shared let me change this. Let's see. I don't want to do a display capture. I want to do a window capture and I want to do it of the Firefox. There we go. The Firefox window. That should be the correct one. Oh my gosh. Cable management is not fun to me. I don't really understand why people like it as a thing. I think it's very satisfying to look at when it's done, but I'm not I don't get anything out of doing it. Yeah. The results are good, but I don't really enjoy the process. Okay, so the last thing we did was count backwards with a for loop, iterate through an array with a for loop, nesting for loops. Oh my goodness, thank you for the subscription. This emote explosion is just for you. Woo! Subscribing with Prime Gaming. I follow a streamer who is really sweet and she always says, out of anyone you could have subscribed to, use your subscription on me for Prime Gaming, and that makes my heart warm. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, loops. I need a lerp command. Lerp. I need a lurk command just for you. And also any other lurks. Have a good work. Thanks for the sub and for the support. I appreciate you. Okay. Lerp. I need a lurk command and a lerp command. If you have a multi-dimensional array, you can use the same logic as the prior waypoint to loop through both the array and any subarrays. Here's an example. So this is a full array, and this is an array within the array. For let I equal 0, I is less than the array length, iterate on the I. For let j equal 0. Hello, Coding Vibe. Welcome to the stream. We're learning about loops today. It's been quite a while since I looked at this. So we'll see how the JavaScript goes. Oh my goodness, thank you for the sub. I don't know why I didn't show your name, but I know who it was. It was Coding Vibe. Hello. Thank you for the 8-month subscription. I appreciate you. This emote explosion is just for you. Also, it told me there's a hype train close, which is really funny. I get 2 subs and it's like, hype train? Hey, this is the most subs you've ever gotten. 8 months, wow. That's pretty cool considering I stream very inconsistently. This outputs each sub element in R one at a time. Note for the inner loop, we're checking the length of Ri since Ri itself is an array. Oh God, this is like completely not making any sense to me. I wonder if I should go back a couple to review some loop stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna start with for loops and then go from there. Just to try to jog my memory here. You can run the same code multiple times by using a loop. Okay, see, this is back in familiar territory. Most common type is called a for loop because it runs for a specific number of times. For loops are declared with 3 optional expressions separated by semicolons. For A, B, C, A is the initialization, B is the condition, and C is the final expression. I feel like I need to take notes. Did I do this last time? I did not. Not for loops anyway. Loops. And loops are important. Although I guess everything they're teaching me is important because they're not teaching me anything I'm not going to use, right? For loops, what's today? The 18th. Oh my goodness, how is it already the 18th? Where is time going? For A, semicolon, B, semicolon, C. A, initialization. B, condition. C, final expression. And then I'll write an example when they tell me an example. The condition statement, no, the initialization statement is executed only one time before the loop starts. It's typically used to define and set up your loop variable. Okay, remember that. The condition statement is evaluated at the beginning of every loop iteration and will continue as long as it evaluates to true. When the condition is false at the start of the iteration, the loop will stop executing. That means if your condition starts as false, your loop will never execute. Got it? The final expression is executed at the end of each loop iteration prior to the next condition check and is usually used to increment or decrement. That's right. I remember that word. I don't like it. Your loop counter. All right. In the following example, we initialize with I equals 0 and iterate while our condition I is less than 5 is true. We'll increment I by 1 in each loop iteration with I++ as our final expression. Okay, so this example is for let I equals 0, I less than 5, I++. Okay, cool. That's something. All right. Let's do some code. LGBC. Let's get this code. No, wait. LGTC. Wait. Yes, that's right. Let's get this code. Use the for loop to push values 1 through 5 onto my array. So my array is empty, just like the one in the example. Only change code below this line. Oh God, let's get this code. Geet. There's no way to, I can't say it differently because it's just pronounced get. So I guess geet was my answer there. Geet, yeet. Okay, so for initialization statement, let I equals, I'm gonna assume it's also, you start at 0 and then we wanna do through 4. So I is the same thing, y is less than 5 because it doesn't include the 5. and then I plus plus. It feels like a cheat that it's the same. Maybe it's not. I mean, they changed the name of the array, so you can't just copy and paste it, but array.push, and then I. So starting with I equals 0 until I is less than 5, adding 1 to whatever value I is at the end of every loop. In every loop, push I. So first it's 0, so it'll push 0. Then the loop goes again, it'll push 1. Then the loop goes again, it'll push 2, up into 4. Is that right? Nope. Oh, it should equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I equals 1. Will that do it? Yeah, just change the numbers. Cool. Okay, cool. I'm glad I did that because I do not think I would have remembered that without reviewing it again. For loops don't have to iterate one at a time. By changing the final expression, which is the C, the last bit, we can count by even numbers. We'll start at I equals 0 and loop while it's under 10. We'll increment I by 2 each loop with I plus equals 2. Okay, so let me write that down. So I plus plus increment by 1. I plus equals 2 increment by 2. This is where all those operators I did 1,000 years ago come back into play. Okay, so for this array, let I equal 0. While I is less than 10, adding 2 each time, push I. So it'll be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's change our initialization so we do odd numbers. Okay, let's do a loop. Let's get this loop. Let I equals 1. I is greater or is less than 10. I plus equals to 2. Make a function. My array dot push the value of I semicolon. Yeah, killer. Count backwards. Okay, so this is decrementing, which I also want to take a note on. So if I do I minus minus, I'm assuming that decrements by 1. I minus minus decrement by 1. I don't think this word should be illegal. I just don't like it. Let's see. And this is I minus equals 2. And that's decrement by 2. It feels like there's another word for decrement that I like better, but I don't know what it is. Okay. Start at I equals 10. We'll loop while I is greater than 0. We'll decrement by I by 2 each loop. And then we'll push the value of I. So it would be 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Let's change our initialization and final expression so we can count backwards by 2s to create an array of descending odd numbers. Ooh, okay. 4, not 2 F's, just 1. 4, let I equals descending odd numbers. So I'll do 9. And while I is greater than 0, I minus equals 2. Curly boy, my array dot push I. Push I into the array. Push it. Cool. One day I'll donate to this and you'll be like, cool, now we don't get ads anymore. Okay. Iterate through an array with a for loop. I think this is the one right before we got, yeah, this is maybe the last exercise I had completed previously. A common task in JavaScript is to iterate through the contents of an array One way to do that is with a for loop. This loop will output each element of the array R to the console. So this is the array being set for I equals 0, while I is less than the length of the array, adding 1 to I each time. Console.log, print the value RI, the whatever that position is. So it starts with the first one because it's I equals 0, and then it adds 1 after, it'll spit out 9, and so on until we're done with it. Remember that arrays have zero-based indexing. Yes. We just went to Berlin, and I don't know how common it is throughout Europe. Maybe it's just a German thing, but the elevators, all the buildings were zero-based floor numbering, which I thought was interesting. So usually the ground floor is like its own thing, and then the first floor is actually what we would call the second floor, which was rad. It was cool to see that in real life, because I don't know a lot of things that are zero indexed besides like code. And yeah, that was cool. And then I got into a conversation with some of my European colleagues about in the US how they don't use the 13th floor a lot of the time, especially in hotels. They'll just skip from 12 to 14. And they were like, well, that's weirder. I'm like, yeah, not wrong. It's like a superstition thing too, which is like the silliest reason to do anything, because it's still the 13th floor, whether or not you label it the 13th floor. Okay, so the last index of the array is length minus 1. Okay, which is why this is the way it is. Our condition in this loop is when I is less than array length, which stops the loop when I is equal to length. In this case, the last iteration is I is equal to 4, i.e. when I becomes equal to R length minus 1 and outputs 6 to the console. Yeah. Then it increases to 5 and the loop terminates. Okay. So I'm going to write that down because I think this R length thing right here is going to be crucial later on, and I don't want to forget it. Like, I'm going to end up using that exact phrasing a lot, right? Stops loop when array has been looped. How do I want to fit this? When array content is complete. I love writing half a sentence and then realizing it's not going to be an easy way to finish it. We are a bunch of boobs. You are not wrong. So I'm going to put this around a box on my little notes here so it's easier to see. Boop. Are y'all having a good Tuesday so far? I never got the hang of Tuesdays. Okay. Declare and initialize a variable total. Okay. To 0. So I equals 0. Is that all that's saying? Why did they phrase this in the weirdest way possible? Use a for loop to add the value of each element of the my R to total. I think that's what they're telling me to do. So for let I equals 0, R dot length. Well, this is my R. That's the name of the array. My, or other way around, my R. I plus. Is that right? Let me see. I'm also sleepy, and I already had my coffee. It must be the chill vibes and the cool weather, you know? Sort of a cozy fall. Nope, that's not a sleeve. There we go. Cozy fall vibes over here. I also have a bunch of work to do. I gotta catch up with Hacktoberfest and make sure that everyone is. So we have some folks submitting to our company challenge, but not. So like they're getting their PRs in, but they're not submitting to get a T-shirt or anything, which is fine because like you know, if you don't want a t-shirt, you don't want a t-shirt, but we're also planting trees and I do want to plant trees. So I'm going to pester them individually and be like, hey, did you know we're doing a Hacktoberfest thing? Like, go comment on their issues and be like, would you like to plant some trees, my friend? And then, yeah, some other things, but that's top of mind right now. Also, because I want to be able to say, like, look how many people participated. And it's harder to do that when they don't say, hey, I participated. But for now, just JavaScript. I'm struggling with learning how to connect a WordPress thing to FileZilla. Oh, no. Also, hi, Mooney PZ. What is FileZilla? No. FileZilla. Oh, FTP. I got nothing for you. But also WordPress is annoying. I switched my site to Squarespace, which is also annoying, but in a different way. So that's something, right? Like, I don't know. Slightly less annoying. Well, actually, okay, let me show you my site. So what's most annoying to me is I wanted to do, so Ko-fi has these like, oh, well, let me log in easy. Yeah. So they have like buttons, right? You can do, so you can add like a widget. So this one's cool because it's like someone can literally just buy you one on your website. Oh no, it's for a class. Rip. You'll go, then that means it's possible though if it's a class assignment. Right. So they have like these cool widgets. You can have like a cute button, and it's like it builds the script for you. You're like, oh, how nice, how lovely. Squarespace does not let you put any code in. Like you can put, I don't even know how it decides what is allowed and what isn't, but like you can't put any like widgets in. You can't put anything with like JavaScript. Whoa, no, I want to log in, my friend. There we go. So as a result, like if you go to try, and I'm going to just to show you what it says. So like, let's say I just want a floating button. And I'm like, nope, don't press it. Like, okay, pages, I'm going to edit this. And I did WYSIWYG for a reason. I was like, I need to make this simple on me. So I have a little code box and it lets me do this, which is just an image with a link, right? I can do HTML. But if I try to paste this, oh, here it is. JavaScript and iframe embeds aren't supported in your plan. This will not appear on your site. So I have to pay more. It'll support HTML, plain text, markdown, and CSS when surrounded by style tags. So like limited CSS. But I have to, let me see how much more, right? It's like, y'all, like this is a scam. And it's not loading, so I can't even see how much it would be. But like, I literally, come on, let me have a cute little widget. My God, I'm already paying. Like, that's the thing. It's not like this is the difference between free and paid. Like I'm already paying. Let me Google Squarespace plans to see how much it would be to have the privilege to put a button. Big dumb dummy site. True. Yeah, so I pay $16 per month, which is, by the way, a wild amount compared to, I was on like a self-hosted WordPress and that was way cheaper. But if I want to do business, I have to do $23 a month to get a code. To get a code. So stupid. And like, obviously that's not like the end of the world, not being able to put that. But my friend, my best friend Liz, I was stealing their about format because it's cute. And we have a podcast together. And I loved that they put this little Buzzsprout widget on their site. Like, doesn't that not look amazing? So I was like, oh, I need to put that on my site. I'm just going to steal this entire block. And I can't because of that. Just like little things like that are so stupid. I hate it. So now I'll have to decide if I want to pay more money or what. I'm at this point, I just moved over to Squarespace. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to move to another site, but it's super annoying. And also just to prove to you that I stole Liz's About format. I literally did. So yeah, whatever. One day I'll have fewer things to complain about with Squarespace, but today's not the day. Well, I hope you're doing well other than that. That's really frustrating. Okay, so we did that, and I'm going to assume it's right until they tell me it's not. And let's see. Declare an initialized variable total to 0. Use a for loop to add the value of each element to total. Okay. Total should be declared. Oh, this is a whole different thing. Okay. Total should be declared and initialized to 0. How do I declare a variable? It's been so long. Don't I do like let total equals 0. Semicolon, because that's what we do here in JavaScript world. For I equals 0. Okay, so then now we're pulling in the array. And use the loop to add the value of each element to the total. Okay, so the element, we'll do it like that, right? So my R I. Okay, so then that means it'll be total equals one equals is only used to assign value to a variable, which I did up there. So here it would be total equals. We'll find out. Is this anything? No, not reset. No, I meant run. No, okay. Total should be declared. You should use a loop. You should not attempt to directly assign the value 20 to total. So I don't think it's looping. Like it is looping, but it's not adding total. Total equals add the value of each element to total. So this is the value of that element. I'm trying to add it to the existing total, and I feel like just saying plus total is not right. So maybe it's total plus. Does that matter? Are you assigning a value to a variable? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you for the leading question. That did it. Appreciate you. I said yeah, and then I subtly deleted the extra equal sign, and then it worked. Amazing. Okay, nesting for loops. Now we're in the zone. Now we're in the new stuff. If you have a multi-dimensional array, you can use the same logic as the prior waypoint. See, waypoint is also a new vocab word in this context. Fascinating. To loop through both the array and any subarrays. Here's an example. So here's the array, here's the subarrays. For, we start at 0. For as long as the array is iterating once, and then there's another loop. So I guess j is like, we already used I, so now we're using j. For the same, starts at 0, but j is the value of I dot length. Okay, so the first one is saying, of this array, look at this array, and then look at this, I believe. And then print the value of I and j. This outputs each sub-element in R one at a time. One at a time. Each sub-element in R. So does that mean this only prints 1? because it looks like it prints this and this. Note that for the inner loop, we're checking the length of our I, since our I is itself an array. Okay. Modify function multiply all. Oh, excuse me. Modify function multiply all so that it returns the product of all the numbers in the sub arrays of array. Okay, so now we're also multiplying. Let's just add like everything together. All at the same time. So function of multiply are all are. Did I already start this last time? Let me reset it. I did. Okay, cool. I don't want to be confused by my previous code. Okay, so function multiply all are. Let product equals 1. So product is the total. This is where I put the loops. Return product. Multiply those. Okay. Let's do a for loop. I think that's what they want me to do. Let I equal 0. I is greater than r dot length. I plus. And then we do the squiggly boy. And surprise, it's another for loop. Let j equals 0. J is greater than r I dot length j plus plus. And then for both of those, what we want to do is we want to do some multiplication, but I'm trying to figure out product equals Ri times J. I think it's going to be product. Product. Oh, and also it's not called R. This is, wait, multiply all R. But it's called multiply all. Right? This is confusing because the array in here is just labeled R. But I feel like this needs to be multiply all. So I'm going to change it. Multiply all. I don't feel like this is right. Let's see. Okay. Unknown token. Or unexpected token. Oh, did I forget? Yeah. Gotta put a semicolon. But that wasn't the problem. Okay. Multiply all is the name of the function. And R is the array. Okay. So, oh god, yeah. Gotcha. Because this is function. This is the array. Okay. So it is R. Change it all again. R. I don't think that'll fix it. Nope. Okay. So let's look line by line. So we're going I equals 0. I think that's right. For as long as the array is, which is 1, 2, 3 array, iterating each time. And then j equals 0 for as long as the array is. Okay, yeah, I do think it's this line that's the problem. So product equals product times. I think it's actually just times I times j. Like maybe I'm making it too complicated. I just want a hint. I don't want help. I want a hint. Make sure to check with length. Make sure to check with length and not the overall array. They both have length. Use both I and j when multiplying. Remember to use R1. Okay, so I do need to do, or RI. Usually when you have an unexpected token error, it's a problem with some weird thing you accidentally typed in or can't figure out where the beginning or end of what you're writing is, so you're missing a character. Okay. Let's look really carefully. I need have that, have that, have that, have that. Maybe what I need to do is add a parentheses here. I mean, I don't think that's wrong. Because what I'm trying to do is multiply product, which starts at 1, by I'm not actually trying to multiply by the first array because the first array is just this whole thing, right? So I'm actually trying to multiply it by these two. I hate this. Hold on. Hold. Okay, because... Okay, so this is easy because these arrays only have one number each, right? So for this one... multiply 1 by 2 by 3, that's 6. Let me do some math over here to make sure I know what's going on. All right, calculator. Actually, I'm going to use my phone calculator so I can show y'all if I have a revelation. Although I don't think I will. Let's see. So the second one is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Before you solve the logic inside the loop, you should fix the syntax error. I don't know where it is. If you see the syntax error, you can tell me, unless you think it's important that I find it. Where? That's a curly boy. That's a curly boy. Oh. I see. Okay, so curly. They shouldn't even let you delete a curly boy. Okay, so Okay. All right. So the first one did come back correct. So at least something's happening. Something's happening. There is multiplication, but I don't think I'm multiplying all the different elements. Was I on the right track with not thinking I multiplied this? Because I'm trying to get the elements, right? So maybe it's like the way they did it here. Ah! Ah! Do you ever do the thing correct and then you forget that how good it felt? Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Ooh, now we're doing do while loops. I need maybe not the emote explosion because I want to save that for when people follow and stuff, but I need some sort of like celebratory, maybe a GIF or something for when I get things right. Maybe emotes in the chat, IDK. Suggestions welcome. The next type of loop you'll learn is called a okay, but look, it doesn't animate on the screen, so it's just kind of like a Sylveon going like this. That's kind of sad. It's not as exciting, is it? But that's how I feel in my heart when I get something correct. Just doing this. Just doing the bongos in the air. Okay, a do while loop. It's called a do ... while because... Okay, but do most people just call this a while loop? Because I have not heard it do ... while. It will first do one pass of the code inside the loop no matter what, and then will continue while the specified condition evaluates to true. Okay, checks out, makes sense. So instead of it... No, I don't know enough yet to make a statement. We're going to keep going, and then I'll compare it to for loops. Okay. There are two different things. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't know that I've heard of a do while loop before, so this is a new concept for me. Const array equals that let I equal 0. Do push the value of I and iterate plus plus while I is greater than 5. Oh gosh, it's like a completely different syntax. That's annoying. It behaves similar to other types of loops, and the resulting array will look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, what makes the do while different from other loops is how it behaves while the condition fails on the first check. Let's see this in action. Here's a regular while loop. Okay, so yeah, did I already learn while loops? I probably did. Did I learn them? Clearly, I remember it so well. Yeah, okay. Well, I did one while loop, and then they were like, do you want to learn a whole bunch of things about for loops? So that makes sense why I forgot it. So here's a regular while loop that will run as long as excuse me, as long as I is less than 5. Our array let I equals 5. While I is greater than 5, our array dot push I plus plus. In this example, we initialize the value of our array to an empty array and the value of I to 5. When we execute the while loop, the condition evaluates to false because I is not less than 5. So we do not execute the code inside the loop. The result is that our array will end up with no values added to it. It will still look like that when all the code in the example is completed running. But take a look at a do while loop. So similar, but instead of while, it's do. In this case, we initialize the value of I to 5, just like we did above. But when we get to the next line, there's no condition to evaluate, right? Because the condition's at the bottom. So we get to the code inside the curly braces and execute it. We will add a single element to the array and then increment I before we get to the condition check. When we evaluate that the condition I is less than 5, on the last line, we see that I is now 6, which fails the check, so we exit the loop and we're done. At the end of the above example, the value of the array is now 5. Essentially, a do while loop ensures that the code inside the loop will run at least once. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to some notes. Do ... While is a weird word. Like, I've read it too much, and it's only the beginning. Do while loop. So I'm just going to write down the example code and then write down the difference between this and a while loop. Let I equal 5. Do curly brace. Our array dot push I plus plus and curly brace while I is less than 5. While loops evaluate the condition first. Do while loops. Wow, wish I could write like a human being. Do while loops evaluate the condition last. So they always run at least once. Cool. Notes taken. Concept perhaps understood. Okay, change the while loop in the code to a do while loop. So the loop will push only the number 10 to my array, and I will be equal to 11 when your code is finished running. Excuse me. So the while moves down here while I is greater than 5. And instead we change this to just do, which is maybe my favorite command so far. Is that it? That's it. Replace oops. Oops? What's a yoop? Replace loops using recursion. Recursion is the concept that a function can be expressed in terms of itself. To help understand this, start by thinking about the following task. Multiply the first n elements. Oh, it's always good when you say, oh, good, recursion. Multiply the first n elements of an array to create the product of those elements. Using a for loop, you could do this. Function multiply rn, let product equals 1. Excuse me. Loop let I equals 0. While I is less than n, iterate once on I. Product. Oh, I forget what this is. Oh, it's yawn worthy. That's how riveting it is. Multiplication assignment multiplies a variable by the value of the right operand and assigns the results to the variable. Okay, so that's just an easier way to do what we did earlier. R1 return product. However, notice that multiply Rn equals multiply Rn minus 1 times Rn minus 1. That means you can rewrite multiply in terms of itself and never need to use a loop. Is it? Okay, whatever. Sometimes I learn a concept and immediately my brain's like, but why do I have to do it that way? Why can't I already learned about loops. Which I know is silly because that's literally how anything math related is. Like you learn how to add and then later you learn about multiplication and you're like, but I already know how to add. And it's like, yes, and this has a different use. It's different. It's okay. You will be fine. Okay. So then this becomes function multiply Rn if n is greater than or equal to 0, return 1. Else, return multiply rn minus 1 times rn minus 1. The recursive version of multiply breaks down like this. In the base case, where n is greater than or equal to 0, it returns 1. Recursion is pretty narrowly applicable. We mostly just use loops. Okay, hey, I am fine with that. I just also need to get out of the habit of complaining every time I get introduced to a new concept. Okay, for larger values of n, it calls itself, but with n minus 1. That function call is evaluated in the same way, calling multiply again until n greater than or equal to 0, or less than or equal to 0. At this point, all the functions can return, and the original multiply returns the answer. Recursive functions must have a base case where they return without calling the function again. In this example, when n is greater than or equal to 0, otherwise they can never finish executing. See, that's what I know about recursion. It's just an infinite loop. Write a recursive function. I really don't want to. Sum rn that returns the sum of the first n elements of an array r. Okay. So first, let's just kind of copy what they said. So now it's function, the example is function multiply rn. We have function sum rn. So if n is greater than or equal, or is less than or equal to 0, curly brace, return the sum of the first n elements. Do I need to do, hold on. I think I can skip this whole part. Let's try it. Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, then we know where we can go. Return sum rn minus 1 times rn minus 1. It would help if I did minus instead of equals, huh? Ooh, yes I do. That sounds amazing. Good call. Okay, so I did use recursion successfully. I don't have any other kind of loops or higher order functions, which is stuff I don't even know, mostly. But I didn't do the math right. So if the math ain't mathin', then let's try the thing that I said we could skip. One of the tests was correct, but the other two were not. Man, you said shepherd's pie and now I'm hungry. Oh, it would help if I didn't do multiplication, huh? No, it did not help, actually. If I keep clicking on it, will it eventually work? I do. I'm going to look at a hint. When n is less than or equal to 0, sum Rn returns 0. Okay, so the first thing is that I needed to have one case where it returns without calling the function again, otherwise it won't finish executing. And I think that's what this is, and I think that's what this first hint is trying to tell me. So I think I have that. When n is larger than 0, when n is larger than 0. Oh, awesome. I can't think of anything right now, but remind me later today to actually look at the groceries and make sure I have enough food for breakfast and lunch. Is it... I think maybe it needs to go the other way. All right, let me read this again. When n is larger than 0, sum Rn returns sum Rn minus 1 plus Rn minus 1. Sum Rn minus 1 plus Rn minus 1. That's what I have. But it's when n is larger than 0. This is when n is less than. So maybe I just need to swap that? No. Oh, thank you, Caddy. What a sweet message. U, Y, and right back at you. When n is larger than 0. And right now this is when n is less than 0. So let me just take away the equals. No. Why is this so hard? Is it because I don't understand it? Maybe. No other discussion. What is your base case for this problem? Base case meaning so it's asking me write a recursive function sum Rn that returns the sum of the first n elements of an array R. Base case is when it stops recursing. This? Is this the thing? Must have a base case when they return without calling the function again. In this case, n is greater than or equal to 0. Otherwise, I can never finish executing. Yeah, like this is what I don't understand because... Okay, let me think through these examples. So the first one is sum of the first array is 1 and 0. So you can think of the base case like the second part of a for loop. Right. And this says when n is larger than 0, sum R returns that. Okay, so this is correct because it should be when it's less than 0, it returns 1. Otherwise, Yeah, so this is the one, right? So because this is when it returns 0, so that's when it stops. We're only doing stuff above 0, I guess. Otherwise, return the sum of the array. I really don't understand this the way that I think I need to actually solve it. When n is larger than 0, sum returns that. Look at all these links, all these people saying, help, I'm confused. Okay. I managed to get the answer using the 2 hints, but it hasn't helped me to understand how the function worked. That's where I am. I understand the concept of recursion, that it's calling itself again, but what I don't understand is how the elements are being added up. If you could help me to understand, I'd appreciate it. Do they want me to return 0? Okay. So I solved it because the return should be 0, but I don't know why they think I know that. And then also I just still don't understand it. So let's read this. The if statement checks to see if sum is evaluating the base case. Hey, it's that word again. Base case, n is greater than or equal to 0 or not. Okay, so this is saying if it's greater or less than, I keep saying greater than, if it's less than or equal to 0, return 0. If it is, then sum returns 0, the sum of elements from 0 to 0 inclusive. Otherwise, it recurses by evaluating a simpler call, sum r n minus 1. Once that returns, it adds a single element array, r n minus 1 to it, and returns that sum. Okay. I don't like this. Because, yeah, they're like, it's very confusing. I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. Do you see why it should have been 0? Not really. So only because no. If n, so n is, this one was saying, I think I get it. The thing that wasn't clear for me is that n stands for the index of the array. So in this, we would usually start at index 3, but the function states that n minus 1 is the starting index, so n is 2. This. We then find the sum of the array up to index 2. 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 9. So for the example, sum 2, 3, 4, 1, we'd normally start at index 1, but since it's n equals n minus 1, we find the array up to the index 0, which is 2. Okay, so wait, hold. I think what this is saying is if n, which is the place in the index, this is returning, n here is the placement inside the array, right? If we are less than 1 or less than 0, then it's not an element in the array. So we can't have that. Maybe. Let's find some other people that have talked about this. Unclear thing. Sorry if this is silly. Different solution. What I don't understand is why the sum should be equal to 0 if an array can be non-zero. Sure, n is the 0 in this case, but is it really sum of an array? But is it really a sum if an array is actually 5? Wouldn't sum be 0 plus 5 equals 5? Here n refers to the index of r. When n is 1, it'll return the first element plus 0, thus terminating. It'll return the first element plus 0, thus terminating the recursion. Oh, good. I like this example because it has the example, it has comments, and then it has step by step what is actually happening to the code. Which this is my only complaint about Free Code Camp is I can't always tell like what my code is doing if it's not correct, because I can't see what it's outputting or what like is actually happening. So let's say we have an array 1, 2, 3 and we pass it to our function sum rn, like so. Sum 1, 2, 3, 2. So we want to get a sum of the first 2 elements. Think of the case when n equals 0, then the case when n equals 1, then the case when n equals 0, and what it will do. Okay. So n equals 1 would be this part of the array, the first index 1, and 0 is this. I hate this actually. I think I'm missing something very basic. Me too, Cybertron. Me too. The n is the number of array elements to sum. It is not an index. Oh. What? Oh my god. This is confusing. I think this was my problem. The n is the number of elements to sum. It is not an index. This is stupid. Sorry, it's just true. Sorry, JavaScript. So if n equals 0, then there's no elements to add. Which is kind of what I was getting at, but I was getting at it from the wrong direction. This is an every language thing because arrays are 0 indexed. Oh, okay. Then friendship with arrays over. Interesting. Okay, so let me reread this code with that understanding. Multiply the first n elements of an array. Okay, so yeah, I get why everyone was confused on this, because I think usually when we see something like this, it refers to the index, not just like the number n. Cool. A new thing to mess up in the future, I guess. So let's see. What we're trying to do is return the sum of the first n elements of an array R. If we are going through the loops and there is no n equals 0, that means there are no numbers to add together. So we return 0. Otherwise, return the sum of the elements of the array. Okay, cool, whatever. I'm calling it done. I'm calling it more or less done. We got there eventually. In the case of n equals 0, line 6, whoop, whoop, whoop. We're going back. We're going back because I want to understand what you're saying completely. And this is the only good way to do it. Wait, hello, my recursion? This. What? Did it not save it? Okay, it did, but the code's not there. We shall look at the solution. Okay. In the case of n equals 0, line 6 would be looking at r minus 1, which can't exist. That is why n is greater than or equal to 0 is the base case. That's when you're done looking at the array. Okay. The reason it's 0 is because you're adding things up. And if you add 0 to whatever your sum is, that won't affect anything. If you were doing multiplication, you'd return 1. Okay, yeah, okay. I totally understand this much better than when I was first trying to understand it. But they did not explain that very well, because they were like, oh yeah, let product equals 1. And they didn't really say why. But now that makes more sense, because if you get to the point where you're not doing it anymore, it's always going to be 1. Whereas for this, it's always going to be 0. No, they super didn't. Okay, cool. Not just me. I would be really curious to see like stats for these, like which of the help articles get clicked on most often, that sort of stuff. That would be fascinating. Sorry if this is silly, but I don't understand the point of the -1. I love this because same. And someone else got a different solution. The other clearer way of doing this is changing the base case to if n equals 1, return r0, which would function the same, but makes it clear that when you get to n equals 1, that's the last thing you want to add. Yeah. It's longer, but it clarifies it a little bit more. And it's so silly because once I do understand it and then I look back, I'm like, oh, I see the words. I see the words that should have given me the hints that did not give me the hints, though. Okay, now we have an array of objects. Uh-oh, haven't touched these in a while. We have an array of objects representing different people in our contacts lists. A lookup profile function takes the name and a property prop as arguments has been pre-written for you. Yeah, base case, and they did not define that at all. Okay. I feel less bad now. But I was like, damn, am I just supposed to get it from that example? Okay. The function that takes name and prop as arguments has been pre-written for you. The function should check if name is an actual contact's first name and if the given property prop is a property of that contact. Okay, this is reminding me of the record collection exercise already, and I'm getting nervous. If both are true, then return the value of that property. If name does not correspond, then return the string no such contact. If prop does not respond to any valid properties of a contact found to match name, then return the string no such property. Okay. So what we're trying to do is say, first is if name is someone's name. I feel like I don't remember how to do any of this. And why is this here? Am I supposed to use loops? There's no recursion in this one. Yeah, there better not be. I don't even think this is related to loops. It's a loop? Oh, okay. I lied. Well, because like, why does it have to be a loop? Couldn't I just say like, if this is this, then do this? Isn't this just a series of if statements? Oh wait, that's a loop. I just described a loop. I'm trying to figure out what kind of loop it is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we have a visitor. We have a visitor. Miles. Hello. We have a dog. It's like he knows when I'm struggling and he's like, "Don't worry. You don't have to do this. You can just pet me instead." Hello, puppy. Hi, Miles. Chat says hi. Ugh. Chat says hi. Are you gonna help me program? No, don't lick my face. Don't do it. Oh, you're warm. Were you outside? You hear that good dog thumping? Thump, 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 thump. Thump, 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 thump. What a good dog. What a good dog I have. I don't have any treats for you right now, and I'm sorry about that. You ate all of them a while ago. And I have not restocked. I have not restocked the Treatos. I can take him outside when you're done thumping. Okay. Let's see if he wants to hang out while I do a code. While I do one code. Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to the record collection exercise. Okay. I do like these. There's Harry Potter, there's Sherlock Holmes. I don't know who Christian Voss is or Kira Lane, but they seem cool. They like brownie points and JavaScript and foxes. 10 out of 10. Okay. So should I do a for loop? Is that the thing? Or is it just while? I don't have any notes for while loops, so I'm gonna cheat. Sir? While loops, JavaScript. You can do either. Ooh. Well. Hello. Hi. I'm kicking you out, buddy. Sorry. I'm sorry. You just see him in the background looking at me sadly, like, please pet me. The loop in this example uses the for loop to collect car names from the car array. Yeah, I haven't done any loops while there's been like actual content in the arrays, so I think like words, so I think that's what's tripping me up. Let's do a for loop because I've got notes on that. For let I equals 0. I have four things. Those are objects in the array. Yeah, that's what's confusing. Let me see. JavaScript. Loop through object. objects, plural objects. I don't want to do for in because I haven't learned that. Like, I guess what we're trying to do is go through, like, this is the first object, this is the second object, this is the third object, this is the fourth object, right? So, like, we're looping through. So the first one we're doing is look to see if there is an object with first name Akira. Go through all of these. The second thing is, if there is someone named Akira, do they have a prop named likes? So I guess how many times do I want to do the loop? That's what's confusing me. Is it the number of things I have? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Nobody knows, except for definitely Coding Vibe knows. Okay, so 4, I'm just going to start with that because I can only get further if I start it all. Is there a way to find out how many items are in the array? Hi, Creekburn. Thank you for joining us. Is there a way to find out how many items are in the array? Ah. Yes. But is it r.length? Use that instead of the hard-coded value. Genius. Yeah, it is. It is .length. So this would be contacts length. Haha. Okay, this already feels more like code. Thank you. Good hint. I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I'm frustrated because it doesn't feel like this has to be a loop. But it is, so we're going to do it. Right, Miles? He's like, why are you talking to me? Okay. Okay, so for that, we're checking to see. Like, can I even, this is so confusing to me. I really wish it wasn't. Because I want to just do like, if this is there, then do this. If this is there, then this. But I don't think that's like what you do. Oh, thank you for the follow. Scott McCohen, appreciate it. This emoji explosion or emote explosion is just for you. It feels like you don't put if statements in a loop. You can totally do that. Does it doesn't feel like that's what they want. Okay. I'm scrolling back to my objects notes because this was such a huge problem for me the last time. Was like, if name is equal to A loop is a way to repeat a block of code, so anything you need goes into a loop. Okay. Okay. All right, we're going ham. We're going wild. They made me do math, and now they're like, don't do math. And I'm like, oh, God, how do I do anything else but math? If this, wow, this is too many things at the same time. That's okay. We'll figure it out. It's going to be slow, but y'all are going to be patient because you're very friendly. If I say it, it becomes true, right? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to remember the format for this. Yeah, if condition, then this. And then trying to remember. If else. Remind me what the switch statement is. The switch expression is evaluated once. The value of the expression is compared with the values of each case. I don't think that's it. No, the if is in lowercase letters. Yes, that one I do know. Okay. So yeah, the format is, I need parentheses, if this, but I'm checking for two conditions. So I'm trying to figure out, we want to do some nested if statements, I believe. If this and if prop. Just go on Google. Nested if statements. JavaScript. Else if this, then that. Okay, so squiggly, squiggly. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It does feel like occasionally they just love to throw you in like pretty deep. Where is this class? This is at freecodecamp.org. And if you do ! Bootcamp, it will show you the bootcamp that I'm kind of sort of doing. I am behind, incredibly behind, but totally fine. But it's a group of people working through the same course at the same time. And there's also lectures as well. So it's less, you're not as alone. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I really do like Free Code Camp. Just occasionally I feel like they do throw you in the deep end on things like this. If name equals. Okay, so if both of these are true, and I don't know that this is correct, but if I don't move on, I'll never write a thing, right? So if both are true, then return the value of that property. I already see a test case where this isn't the way they want me to do this, but that's okay. If name does not respond to any context, then return the string no such contact. Else if. I like that everything's a different shade of blue now, as if to say, hey, everything you're doing is wrong. Which is probably true. Let's see. I definitely need a squiggly boy at least there. So I think I actually want to put my else higher up. Block of code to be executed if it's true. If this is true. Yeah, this is, so, because like, so the if is like, if this is true, do this. Else if that's false, then do this. But this is true, then do this. If you want hints or anything, let me know. I feel like you understand this one more. Okay, well, that's good, because the record one, I was like, bleh. But I think we're mixing a lot of concepts I haven't used together before, so it's definitely a time. But yeah, if I'm on the right track or the complete wrong track, you're definitely allowed to give hints. Just don't like completely give me the answer. Yeah, we hints is a good way to phrase it. If this is false and this is false, then we execute that. So this is where I'm stuck, is like, I'm thinking if the name is there, then we want to move on to this other one. But if the name is not there, then we want to do something else. So first we want to check the name. And I feel like we need an else statement after the name. Like that's the first check. Like if this, then do all that. If that's not true, else. Let me just do return. I think I might be making this part more complicated than it needs to be. But then that's also going to clear up why you need a for loop. That's the part that's really getting me, is I don't understand why I need a for loop when I didn't need a for loop to do something similar. I'm going to look at the hints, but I'm not going to go too far. The function should look through contacts for the given first name parameter. If there's a match found, then it looks for prop. If both are found, you return this. Okay, so this is the pseudocode for it, really. Use a for loop to cycle through the contacts list. But why? Why is it a loop? Here we go. What is the explanation for the for loop in this exercise? I don't understand. So you have a list of contacts and the problem is asking you to search through it and find some data. The first condition is to find an object with a matching name. So how will you find out which object has a matching name? I don't understand how contacts.length matches with the other variable to allow you to look up a certain property and cycle through it. Can someone please explain what part the for loop has and what each part of it means? This includes the following: initialization, condition, final expression. How do I know where to initiate the sequence? Does 0 mean the sequence starts at first name? What condition is being measured as true or false? What is being plussed by the 1i++? I really understood the numerical expressions, like add the odd numbers, but the word problems are totally different. I'm trying to not look at the code. I highly recommend you start using console.log statements when reviewing other code. It will help you see what's happening. Blech. Can someone explain this, or are you just gonna go back and forth on tiny things? Okay. Why pass it to the variable value? I could give you an example of when you may want to use a for loop. Well, okay. I guess in this case, what the loop is doing is it's saying, look at this here first. Look at the first object in the array. Then look at the second. Then look at the third. Then look at the fourth. Because if we didn't have a loop here, it'd be like, oh, do we have the first name at all in any of these? Do we have the prop? Like, it would come back as like, yes, you have the first name Akira. Do you have likes? Oh, I have likes a bunch of places. Maybe. Like, we're looking specifically for these two to be connected to the same object. And for some reason, we're using a loop to do that. When I feel like we did the same thing, but without a loop previously. I just did loops all day. I don't know why this is I think you're confused about what context is. Context is an array. An array of objects. Isn't that what the record collection one was? Where is it? Context is an array of objects, not an object with other objects inside it. So you have to loop through the array to examine each object. That's why you can't access the objects directly. Okay, okay. How would you find out which object has first name Harry without a loop? I'm looking at this one to compare it. An object literal representing a part of your album collection. You know, I don't know why I'm looking at this again, because this made me want to scream. But I think the reason that this is confusing to me is because it looks similar to this problem. You have to loop through the array to examine each object. Okay. I think that makes more sense to me now. How would you find out which object has first name Harry without a loop? I don't know. I think it is different because it's an array. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this one today, but it's confusing because the records was one big object. This is instead an array of different objects. That's why you're looking through it differently. Use a for loop to cycle through the contacts list. Use a nested if statement to check if the first name matches, and then checks if prop matches. Oh, and it says to leave this outside of the loop, which makes sense, actually. What does this go to? Mystery, parentheses. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. I feel confident in this line. The structure in that loop is very nearly correct, so I think you have the logic straight in your brain. Okay, thank you. So I feel comfortable with this line. We're going through the index. It starts at 0. We're adding 1 each time. And once the... Wait, is it? I'm just peeking. Okay, yeah. And once the length is bigger than I... Okay, yeah. This will stop it when the array content has been cycled through. We're adding 1 each time. Okay. Then we're seeing if this is the part I think I'm fucking up, which is fine. If name equals contacts first name, we do the next thing. If the prop exists, which I don't think this is how you look for that, and I can't remember how, then we return the name. Maybe like that. And we return where are you using I? So far just here. I guess that's a problem. Oh, it would be I. Is it I first name? I prop? Because we're looking at that one specifically. We're not looking at the whole thing. We're not looking at all 4 of these. We're looking at the first one. Yeah. I've convinced myself that's correct. And if not, you need to tell me because I just changed all of it. You're looking at one object inside contacts. How do you access the object inside the array using I? I think there needs to be some square brackets around here. All right, because we're finding an object in an array, so a square bracket maybe around this whole thing, and then it's, no, that doesn't look right at all. I don't want to look at other code, but I don't think I'm going to get there without it. You have so much faith in me. Thank you. Yeah, let's look at some other arrays. Something simpler. This is the first element of the first array. My array thing. So the array is called contacts. And we're looking at the I. Looking at the I element. And within that, no, this is a nested array. That's different. How are they going to just throw in objects inside an array and not tell me? Nested arrays. This was in the object section, so maybe. Okay, object. And then this is all one big array. Okay. Our pet's 0 dot names 1. 0 is this one. Names 1 is this one. Our pet's 0. So this would be contacts I. First name. But it's not an array. Like, so I don't need to. Is it just dot first name? Oh my god, I think it is. I got there eventually. Okay. If the name is in the contacts array in the ith loop under the first name category. Holy crap. Okay. If prop, and then I remembered this because I was looking through one of these. There's like the has property. Has own property function, which I forgot about. Have a good one-on-one. Thank you for all the hints. I'm going to do my best on this. So this is going to be object1.hasOwnProperty. Well, so we wait. Should check if it is a property. Yeah, okay. Is it I.hasOwnProperty, perhaps? I'm going to look at it again. Object1.hasOwnProperty. And then it has to be labeled with the prop. return I dot first name, I dot prop. Man, it really doesn't like something here. Is it, it's this curly brace. Unexpected token, expected. Ah. Syntax, please. Okay. That's something. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think this is mostly right. Okay. If the input of name is equal to the object we're currently iterating through in context, the first name property, then we go to this if statement. If property, if actually this is just if it has the property that was input, then we're returning the value of first name and also the value of prop. Right? I think this is getting confusing because there's a lot of things. Oh, it's just returning prop. Not returning the first name. Cool, all failed. That's fine. And I feel like because it might be an array, that's something. Okay, I don't feel confident in line 35, but we're gonna keep going. If both are true, then return the value of that property. If prop does not correspond, then return the string no such property. Else, if has I dot has known property prop equals false. What data type is it? Is which one? It's an array of strings. Oh, no, I'm saying prop it is, well, likes is an array of string. I guess I'm still looking at one of the first examples. Prop is, oh, it's the key, right? It's the property name. But we're not trying to return the property name, we're trying to return the value, which would be the property stored as strings, but also numbers, quotes can be omitted, non-string properties are cast as strings. I think it's actually, no, that's not right. Is what data type is I? I is an object, right? Because well, it's like the index of the objects, the index of the array. Where is I declared? Here? I'm looking at my notes on objects. So I as a number. Oh, okay. That's what, yeah. I as a number. My dog is trying to get in my lap, which might actually be helpful. Oh, come here, buddy. Let's have a think and a pet. This is Miles, if you haven't met him. He's a good dog. Therefore, things like I dot has own property don't make sense since I is just a number. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. So I need to object one, whether the object has the specific property as its own property. So can I not, I guess I'm trying to decide if I can use it at all because the objects aren't, it's an array of objects. Example equals. So maybe it's contacts I has own property. Because it's the ith iteration of the contacts array. If that has the property called prop. Return the value of the and I think I'm missing a curly brace here. And I have an extra one here. Hey, okay. Look, a couple of these went through. A couple of these tests went through. I think we're getting there. Did anything return no such property? Oh my gosh, it did. Okay. That was a really good hint. Thank you. We're doing it. So the only thing we're not getting is no such contact. Okay, all right. Else return no such contact. So is it because this is not, line 36 is always true. Line 36 is always true. Is it because I didn't change it to... Is this anything? Is that right? I mean, everything's running properly. Oh, no, except for the thing yeah, because we have the line no such property. Hi, bye. Man, this code is a mess, and I'm sorry about that. So this is the one that I still need. So if this is true, return this. Otherwise, return this. So I think, how goes the code? Hello, Solantis. Sultanis. Wow. Dyslexia. Who knew? It's going well. It's going. How about that? It's going. This is a really complicated exercise for me, but Chad is being really helpful, and I think we're really close to getting it. So yeah, it's going. It's going. I've been doing loops all day, but it's just been numbers. So now I'm doing loops with words and objects, and it's like, whoa, level up here. So there's something happening here that's not right. I think it's returning no such property for the things I want it to return no such contact, because I think this needs to be outside of the loop. Or maybe this needs to be, let me look at the kind of pseudo code that they had here. This function should look through contacts for first name. If there's a match found, then it should look for prop parameter. If both are found, you should return the value. If first name is found and no associated prop is found. Okay, so I think I need to have the first name thing either again, or I need to figure out how to nest it so that it is there. If first name isn't found anywhere, you should return no such contact. Else if... So I think I'm just going to actually put the... what did I do? I pressed a button. And I think I deleted something and everything's wrong. It's fine. There's probably a more elegant way to do this. There's probably a more elegant way to do all of this, but this is what I've come up with right now. And that's fine. Okay, unexpected token. I think I need more parentheses in my life. Okay. So if the name thing, yeah, if name is true, but contacts, the property does not exist, return no such property. Else return, oh, now one of the other tests is failing. Okay, cool. This is fine. To clean up the code, make variables for each conditional, such as is name found, and use those variables in your if. That's a good suggestion. Okay. Out of the for loop. Leave your return no such contact out of the for loop as a final catch-all. So just completely Out of the loop. Out of the loop. There's so many things. This is this. 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 Okay. Unexpected token. Let me look up the if statements again. I'm missing some squigglies. Is that right? Oh. Oh. Put some more squigglies back, okay? Man, my brain is getting so fried. Because, okay, so what I'm thinking is this is in the wrong spot. But then also some of these other things are messed up too. Like, I messed up the props thing somehow. And I don't know if I have enough brain power to figure this out at the moment. But I also don't want to end on like a kind of bummer note of not figuring this out. My God, look at how short this code is that I don't know how to do yet. Amazing. Amazing and stupid. Okay, I think I have to call it for today because now I just can't focus on it. Yeah, I also like haven't learned how to do the cleanup like that. So it's not that I don't think I can do it, and I think it would make a huge difference because it's so messy it's hard to read. But I think that would just be a lot to ask of my brain where it's at right now. So I'm going to call it for today. We're going to come back to this. We're going to kick some ass. We're going to be here on Thursday, and it's going to be great. I appreciate the help today, and we will for sure find it. or find the solution, or find a solution when we come back on Thursday. But I'm going to look for someone to raid. And if you have any suggestions, let me know, because I don't watch a lot of coding streamers during the day. So I don't always have people to follow or people to raid during the day. Let's see. Who's doing software and game development? Coding Garden is on. Const is name found equals name. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I hear you. We're gonna do it when my brain is on. It's like I encounter just one too many problems and my brain, the function is gone. It's like, goodbye. Let's see. Is anybody doing anything kind of similar to what we're doing today? Man, there's a lot of people actually streaming programming at the moment. That's exciting. The times, they are a-changing. Yeah, let's read InstaFluff. InstaFluff is doing Pomodoro coding, which sounds like a thing I need, is some Pomodoros right now to focus on some things. But also I need lunch, so that could be part of it. InstaFluff. So yeah, and it looks like he just started his stream. So yeah, let's go say hi to InstaFluff. He's one of my favorite streamers on here. Just chill vibes and technical content, but it's all really fun. Lots of stuff to do with like Twitch stream extensions and that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll check out InstaFluff, say hi, and enjoy his stream. I will see you back on Thursday, same time, 11 Central. Actually, hold on. I can do this. I'll see you on Thursday, same time, same bat channel. And we will solve this. We are going to solve this. If we don't solve this, I'll eat my hat. And as a friend of mine said recently, you better have a small hat. No, but I think we'll get through this. I appreciate all your help today. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you again on Thursday. Have a good one.